Hey guys, MCU Collector here with the next video in the Hasbro Marvel Legends series Captain Marvel Wave Kree Sentry Build-A-Figure. This video is all about Marvel's Grey Gargoyle. So I'm going to tell you right now, I know absolutely nothing about this character at all, nothing. So what helped me when this figure was first announced, ToyShiz actually had posted a video of who in the holy heck is Grey Gargoyle, and that's the only information I have about him. So I'll actually put a link or put a card or something actually linking to that video in case you guys are interested. But in this video, I'm just going to go over the figure and get some close-up looks at it and kind of go over it from there. And that's really about it. But you see here we have the Marvel logo because this is a comic figure, not from the Captain Marvel movie. It says Grey Gargoyle there. He comes with the Kree Sentry Build-A-Figure head. No additional accessories to him, but there are some cool things about this figure. But it's still just not one that I was interested or excited in whatsoever. No logo at the top because he's not part of Captain Marvel at all. We got some pretty cool artwork on the side there. On the back of the package we get the same shot of Grey Gargoyle there. Now let's take a look at that bio. Okay, Marvel's Grey Gargoyle. Dr. Paul Duval discovers his ability to turn his body to stone and becomes the transmuting mercenary Grey Gargoyle. Well, that wasn't a whole lot of info. Okay, and there is the UPC for everybody. Now let's open up Grey Gargoyle and see what he is all about. Okay, and here is the Grey Gargoyle figure. Not a whole lot going for it. No additional accessories. Again, it's just the Kree Sentry Build-A-Figure head. And we know that we've seen with all the other pieces, the nice purple metallic with a little bit of silver. The head has a little bit of added color. There's a little bit of black around the eyes and then blue eyes. And then it looks like a little bit of a flat silver. Well, there's a little bit of shine to it, but it's not the metallic look of the body. So a little bit of extra paint. Weird looking head. But that's the Kree Sentry, and I know that is actually pretty comic accurate, and I think it's more of a modern look. But I could be wrong on that. But we'll talk about that in the video for the Build-A-Figure. Here is the Grey Gargoyle, excuse me. Again, there's no accessories to him. There's very little paint. The only paint that is applied onto this figure are going to be his forearms, his hands, his lower legs, and his feet. Oh, and his head, of course, for his face. But his lower legs and feet are just the actual blue plastic, whereas the forearms are painted, and then the hands are actually molded in plastic. Now, the paint that this figure does have is pretty good. This is the Grim Reaper body mold, which I don't remember the last time we've seen this mold get used. I think it's been a while. Some of the other characters that have noticeably used this body mold, I think the Punisher, Grim Reaper, of course, and Captain America. I'm sure there's some other figures in there that I just can't quite seem to place. But it's nice to see a little bit of a change up from like the Bucky Cap mold that we've seen over and over again. So that's a good thing. So we'll take actually a close look at this after we get to the articulation. There's not a whole lot. It's going to be the same of what we see with most of the figures. It's a little bit of loose on this guy, but the shoulders are kind of hard to work. This guy, they're really stiff on mine, and I don't know if that's going to be the case for everybody, but you could get a full rotation, except his cape is really going to kind of hinder that and get in the way. You get an upper bicep swivel, double jointed elbow, which works really nice. You get a wrist swivel and hinge. The ab will crunch. There's no ratcheting to it. It's not loose or anything. He'll crunch down that far, a little bit up. That cape's going to hinder it some. You get a waist swivel, of course. There's a floating belt there. Legs go out that far apart. He can kick out quite a lot, which is pretty nice. You get an upper thigh cut there. This thing's kind of gummy a little bit and hard to work. You get a double knee, boot cut there, ankle hinges up, hinges down, and there is ankle pivot. Now, one thing about this figure is the feet, and I'll get closer to that when we get the close-up. I think these are brand new feet. I don't recall seeing these on any other figure, but let's take a closer look at it. and we'll find out. Okay, here's a close-up look at the Grey Gargoyle. As you can see, that paint applied to the face is done very nice. A little bit of black for the mustache there, white for the teeth, and silver for the eyes. And then there's a gray color that's there for like the mask that goes around his eyes. And then his hair, it's not really paint. It's actually... actually, it looks like it might be a little bit of paint added to it, just a very thin layer for his hair. Now, one thing about this figure, it kind of reminds me of some of the translucent figures that we've had in the past. And the one I'm thinking of the most is the Iceman figure, where this figure is not really translucent, but the gray, the way it comes off, it almost has a translucent look to it, and I think that's probably because of how they get the specs in it to give it that rocky look. It looks like it's glitter that's mixed into the paint, so it feels a little gummy, especially when you like move, like when you want to bend the knee. If you look at that piece, you could see that it's a little translucent the way it is, so it's really a lot like that Iceman figure, so you want to be careful with it. It's just kind of, it's a little funky, but it does look good. I like the way the specs, the little glitter looks throughout, but when you get to some of the harder plastic, like these upper thigh pieces and like the torso piece, that's when you really notice some of that translucentness. The gummy parts are going to be the softer ones, like the legs, the arms. They just feel a little bit more rubbery than than normal. And then you could see this floating belt piece is done very nicely. It's translucent and it has the speckles into it. So it's a very interesting figure, the way it looks, to give it that stone look. So I think Hasbro did a good job in doing that. The really cool thing about this guy is actually the cape. It fits on better than other figures, and it's pretty noticeable, but I like the way it's done over the arms and over the shoulders like that, instead of the peg port in the back, which never fits on properly and usually falls off. I like how this one's on here because we know it's going to stay on here and we're not going to have a problem with it falling off. And then I'm sure if you work the arms, you'd be able to get it off because it is a nice soft rubber pliable material, so it's not a problem. But the really cool thing into this, and there's no paint or anything, but it's just like the belt, that rubber look, the translucent with the glitter into it, or the little specks, whatever they call it. The textured detail of this cape is pretty awesome. So you can see like a lot of cracks into it to give it that real rocky look. And then especially right here, you got some deep cracks. And that just looks great. I think Hasbro did a great job in sculpting the cape. And it comes off looking really nice. So kudos to Hasbro for doing that on a figure of a character that most people probably don't know. Now, I've seen some posts and some things about him being one of the villains from the old Iron Man animated series. I've never actually seen that cartoon when I was a kid. I did watch Spider-Man, the animated series, and X-Men, but I did not see Iron Man. I also didn't watch the Fantastic Four at the time. I think I was just mostly into Spider-Man and X-Men. But there he is, Grey Gargoyle. If you guys have some info on this guy, let me know down in the comments below. Oh, you know what? I forgot to show off the feet. As you can see, the feet are huge on this thing. Massive feet. And I checked them to see if they were the same as the Jackal figure. They are different, and it is not the same feet as like the old Beast figure from that old Toys R Us exclusive box set, because those have like rounded toes, whereas this guy has pointed toes. So I think these might be new feet. If you guys recall seeing these on any other figure, let me know down in the comments below, because I can't seem to place them, so I think they might be new. But let me know if you know. But there it is. Again, let me know down in the comments about some information about this guy if you have it. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments below. Hit that thumbs up if you guys liked the video. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, thank you for watching.